May, Kingstree, South Carolina becomes a place of remembrance and reflection. Join us for a powerful two-day commemoration marking the 60th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1966 call to march on ballot boxes. Together, we honor the past, examine the promise, and shape the future. Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th, 2026. For more information, contact C. Williams Rush at 803-397-1859.
Hi, good morning. I really enjoy this daylight savings time because I can do this in the morning a little bit and then get work done later on this evening. Later in, right? But here we are. And again, good morning. Welcome to. I got to come up with some different names for some different shows because everything can't be one thing. Everything can't be one thing, and one thing can't be everything. So I need some help with that, I guess. We'll get there, though. We shall get there. So the question today is um this child support thing, man. The question is if somebody can't pay, if they can't afford to pay, um, should they go to jail? And when they go to jail, does that help the child? How does that help the situation any at you know what I mean? Anyway, how does that help the situation? Freaking lagging. And I guess again, and I understand this is not a one size fits all type conversation. So, all right, let me reset this and see if I get a little better. Give me a second, y'all. Struggle streaming. All right, there we go. And we're back. Still lagging, but anyway. Yeah, locking somebody up. Is it in fact debtor's prison now? I mean, if the person can't pay, how does it help the child in any way? Now, do children deserve and should be supported? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we're talking about situations where the child is here and the child is allegedly not being supported. I guess the question would be, uh, did you think the child would be supported, or you know what I mean? Because in some of these situations, uh, you know, I've said it 1,000 times: choices have consequences. So locking that man up, it may satisfy you, but anyway, I think I got good enough signal right now. So let's get this thing popping right here. All right, clip this. Child support contempt of court and incarceration in South Carolina. Child support contempt of court and incarceration in South Carolina. All right, this morning we're going to talk about something that really does not get discussed, and honestly, enough, I should say that, in our communities. And that's the number one what doesn't get discussed is the number of men, particularly black men, who end up in jail over child support. Again, like I said earlier, children deserve support. Parents have a responsibility to take care of the kids that they made. That part is not up for debate, but we have to be able to talk about this in context and a reality in what we're dealing with, type reality based conversation. And with me, it's it's a thing about, we got to ask the question whether the system that we currently have in place that enforces child support is always fair. And we know it's not fair. It's predatory, if you ask me. And whether putting someone in jail actually helps the child, we know the answer to that: no, because South Carolina, in some surveys, 1 in 8 inmates that's in jail, and that's usually county level. Or no, this might be the prison's number. 1 in 8. So if you count 8 inmates, for every 8 inmates you count, one of them in jail because they essentially couldn't pay a debt. They essentially just could not pay a debt. And I know some people, yeah, well, they need to go to jail, da 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 da. In some cases, you should have made a business decision on the front end. That person wasn't able to take care of himself in a lot of cases, or herself in a lot of cases. And like I said, roughly 1 out of every 8 inmates, according to this survey, was being held because of unpaid child support. That's not a criminal charge, by the way. That's the part that I want to get into, talking about heavily, is that it's not a criminal charge. Okay, because somebody owe you money, that doesn't make that person a criminal, and I don't think that person should have to go sit in jail, especially if that person doesn't have the ability to pay it, and they don't have the ability to pay it. I think that's cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, and if it's not criminal, then what is it? That's something called civil contempt of court. Okay, so let's talk about how the system works. Here's the process that lands you in jail, right? That's why. Okay. Oh no, I never changed that. Unstable internet is driving me crazy. I think I'm just gonna go record this and then put it up. All right, it's 10 o'clock. I don't have to move until 11:30. So I mean, it's live. Y'all going through the pain with me today. I appreciate y'all for hanging out here with me right now. So give me a second. Let me hardwire this internet. Okay. Let me hardwire this internet and return this phone call, and then we'll get into this whole system of why I think sending these people to jail for child support is wrong. Okay, it's wrong, and I know you feel la da 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 da, but that's just a debt. It's a debt. Got some. All right, let me get this thing fixed here so we can do this properly.
Don't realize that Dr. Martin Luther King actually visited King Street. I was one of those people. I was one of those people. Can you tell us about that historic moment? Give us a tell us about that moment.
Okay, well, I attended. He came on May 8th, 1966. I was a 16-year-old senior at Tomlinson High School.
Wow.
I was also active in the youth division of the Voters League. The organization that brought him was headed by the Demrys, Virgil and his brother. Name escapes me at the moment, but Virgil made the trip to Atlanta and sat on Dr. King's steps until Dr. King agreed to come to King Street. And the reason Virgil was bringing him to do that, and I should have checked the names, but Virgil was running for a state political office, and there were several other people in King Street that were running for state political office. And there was one, the Murray man, I think, was running for the position is now the county supervisor position. So Virgil was trying to get the point across to people, and he thought, of course, Dr. King would be quite influential in getting us to the ballot boxes to vote. So it was just was a monumental event, thanks to the pictures that I can vividly remember, what had gone on that day, because I was there, and we're in the process now of trying to determine, we plant a video, as you're aware, the people who did attend back in 66. Yesterday, again, when we were talking with Janie, because for a while I've been trying to figure out, well, who were the youth that were involved with the Voters League? I just could not vividly remember who the other teenagers were at that time that were involved. So one day, I think a neighbor of mine mentioned to another girlfriend of mine about the little situation that occurred downtown King Street on Saturdays, back during that time frame, back in the 60s. We would come to town on Saturday and we would walk that one block between the railroad tracks and Academy Street. And back during that time frame, it seemed like that was just a major city. It was just huge. That was just the longest block of my life. So several of us were walking, and one of them was Harriet Jean Fulton. She was the one that gave the specifics to my girlfriend, who told me what happened that day, because I'd forgotten exactly what happened. We were walking the street, so they said, oh, well, let's stop in Drucker and sit at the counter. They said, oh, okay, let's do that. So we opened the door, we walked in.
Oh, Drucker was a white-owned establishment?
White-owned drugstore downtown King Street.
And so y'all knew what y'all was doing?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I went and sat at the counter, looked around, nobody followed me in there.
Oh.
After they had agreed that we were going. Yeah. So of course, Mr. Drucker came and got me by the shoulder and escorted me out the front door. So that, and then another situation that happened, and I was asking Janie about this yesterday. Janie probably was not with us that day because there was no King Street people and she was living in Neesmith. So I asked her about when the Voters League decided we were going to integrate the library right there. I think the address is 124 Hampton Street, diagonally across from my museum. So they had agreed that, okay, we're going to integrate the library. We'll get the youth involved, and told the youth, okay, now you meet us downtown King Street this particular day at a certain place at a certain time. Got there, I was the only youth that showed up. So we, and I knew it was probably Virgil, maybe Johnny, and it was Johnny and Virgil. I remember 2 or 3 men, were going to escort us into the library that day to check out a book, and no one showed up at me. So I was asking Janie about that, and she said she remembered they were talking about it, but she knows she didn't participate in that. So when we got up to the top of the steps of the library, I stopped and looked back across the street where the B.C. Moore store was. The front of the store was filled with white faces. And I'm thinking, as a 16-year-old, I'm thinking, what? And I thought, oh, there's somebody going back telling these folk everything that we were doing. So that's why they knew they had assembled there to visually, yeah.
Did you understand the danger involved at the time? Because I'm sitting and listening, and so the conversations had to be. It was normal conversation now for you guys to be walking down the street and decide, hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
This was the thing that was going on.
Around.
There was revolution in the air.
Exactly.
Did you have a sense of fear, or?
I think it was minimal. I did not have a great sense of fear, even though I was aware of the KKK activities, and we were certainly in a seriously segregated situation in society. I was going to a seriously segregated school, all of that. But sometimes 15, 16, they don't you don't realize the full dangers and the consequences of some of your actions a lot of times. And the third thing that happened is that I decided after these two situations, I said, I'd like to go and apply for a job at Rose's